Hello Pokemon card collectors, this is part 2 of my ranking of every illustration rare in the Scarlet and Violet era. If you missed the first video, I go through SVO1 to SVO3 including Pokemon 151, and today we're going to try and get through Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, Shrouded Fable, so let's see how we do with that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we're actually not starting with Paradox Rift, we're starting with the 3 illustration rares from Paldean Fates. So yeah, we're starting with the shiny Wugtrio. The Wugtrio, I think they're cool cards, but you know what I mean. They're not super exciting Pokemon, super exciting cards. So I'm going to put the 3 of these illustration rares, I wouldn't really split them too much. I think they're all pretty cool, especially the Palafin. I think the Palafin's very cool, but I'm going to put the 3 of them inside of the C tier. So yeah, now moving on to Paradox Rift, and yeah, this has got to be my favourite set of the Scarlet and Violet era so far. I mean, I'm pretty excited about the Black and White reboot set that's coming out later this year, but yeah, this set, Paradox Rift, has got some of my favourite cards in the entire era, so let's get into the illustration rares. Yeah, so firstly, this Crustle, I think it's a really nice card. I really like the colouring on this card, and I especially like the composition. I like how it's leading you in this circular form, in this rocky form. I think if it was a different Pokemon but the same artwork, people would talk about this card as being a really awesome card. But yeah, unfortunately it's just the Crustle, but I think that it's still a pretty cool card, so I'm going to put it in the C tier. The Dottler, this is one of those cards that isn't particularly inspiring to me. I do think that it's kind of pretty, but I just wouldn't really kind of blink twice if I pulled it. It wouldn't be something that I was really excited to pull. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in the D tier. The Toedscruel again, I think this one is not a card that I'd be super excited to pull. I think the artwork's kind of cool, but again, it's just the colouring is okay. The Pokemon's pretty small. I'm not really sure on the composition either, so yeah, I'm gonna put that one in the D tier. Next up, we've got the Magby. I think this one's really nice. I know people are going to say, well, it's an earlier generation Pokemon, of course you're going to put it higher. But yeah, I do think the art style on this one is pretty cool. I like the expression on Magby's face as he kind of puffs out. It's pretty cool, and yeah, I'm going to put this one up in the B tier. The Iron Moth. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of these future Pokemon. I think it's such a cool idea. The favourite being definitely the Iron Bundle, which I mean, that's probably one of my favourite Pokemon of all time, not just of, you know, the newer generation, but it is such a cool design. So yeah, back onto the Iron Moth. Although I really like the future Pokemon, the Iron Moth isn't one of my favourites, but I do think it is a really cool card for what it is. And yeah, I think the background of this card is stunning, and yeah, I'm gonna put it up in the B tier. I think I'm feeling a little bit less evil today than I was in part 1. So, and also thank you so much to everybody for who commented on the previous video. I really enjoyed seeing that and engaging with you guys. So yeah, moving on to the Snorunt. This one is also, I would say it's similar to the Magby. And yeah, the Pokemon is quite small, which is something that I sometimes have a gripe with. But I think that it's a very clean card, similar to the Cleffa in Obsidian Flames. Just because the Pokemon's small on it, it has very clean colouring. It's not super busy, which means that you can still focus on the Pokemon if it's smaller. So yeah, I would say this one's kind of on the level with the Magby, and yeah, I really like this card. So yeah, moving on to, this is one of my personal favourites, the Mantike. So I really like Mantike. I think it's such an awesome baby Pokemon, and it's one of the cases where I think the baby Pokemon is so much cuter and so much cooler than the Mantine itself. Even though I like both, but yeah, this Mantike is such a cute card. I think the only, I love the concept of it, like the human looking at the Mantike from inside of the submersible. But I really think that the only gripe I have with it is the composition. I think that the head and the shadow of the character in the foreground is cool, but I would just have liked it to be a little bit further to the right, so it wasn't encroaching on the viewing window as much as it is. I mean, that might be a little bit nitpicky, but that's just how I feel about the card. It's a really, really nice card, and I'm going to put it inside of the A tier. Right, so let's move on to Vanillish. So Vanillish is one of the new Pokemon. It's one of the food Pokemon, and that was one of the things that I was going on about in my last video. Oh, the food Pokemon this. But yeah, this one's kind of cute. I can see how like some of the younger Pokemon fans would like this Pokemon. And yeah, the card itself is in this cartoony style. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to put it in the D tier. So let's go and move on to the Wimpod. So I think this is one of those cards where the illustration is pretty beautiful, and the only thing that holds it back for me is the coloring of the card. It's kind of cool with the gold and you know, all of the Wimpods around, and I think it's a really nicely done artwork. So yeah, I'm gonna put it inside of the C tier. So this Veluza card, this is another one where if it was a different kind of Pokemon, then I think this card would be talked about as a really, really awesome design. I think the way that it's, you know, the curvature of the composition as it comes up and over, and the Staryu in the middle, I think it's a really nice card, but yeah, it's held back a little bit by the Pokemon. For that reason, I'm going to have to put it in the D tier, just because I think if I pulled it, I wouldn't be super excited, just simply because of the Pokemon. And yeah, as I said, this isn't, well, I haven't said it yet, I'm saying it now, this isn't necessarily a ranking of the, just purely on the illustrations, you know, it's taking into account the Pokemon on the card as well. So yeah, that's all I'll say about it, but yeah, no, I do appreciate the feedback that I got from the last video. So here we have the Plusle and the Minun. So these are really nice, really cool Pokemon, one of the earlier Pikachu clone Pokemon, and yeah, I really like what they did with this connecting artwork, and I feel that they have to be in the same tier. As, you know, a sports fan myself, you know, it is funny seeing, you know, the different kind of emotions. I really like the concept. The art style isn't my favorite, but I think just for the concept alone and, you know, the depiction of the Pokemon, I'm going to put them both inside of the B tier. The Blitzle's a really nice artwork. This one's really cool. Again, this is one where the Pokemon is very small, but they've managed to pare back the background and the foreground in that really kind of like dark forest scheme, and then highlight the Pokemon, which I think was a really effective strategy for the illustration of this card, for, you know, showcasing this Pokemon. I believe we're going to get another illustration for Blitzle in the upcoming set later this year, so that would be cool to see. Maybe something where you can see the Pokemon a little bit better would be great. But yeah, this one is a C tier card for me. So the Joltik is a really nice one. I pulled this card back when Paradox Rift came out, and yeah, it really surprised me how much this artwork popped. And yeah, I think this is the superior Joltik card. I know there's one in Surging Sparks as well, but I think this one, it's got so much detail in the illustration. It's a really nice card. And yeah, the Boltund as well. It's not a Boltund, it's the other one, but the name escapes me right now. But yeah, the card is really nice, so I'm going to put it up in the B tier. So here we have the Espathra. So I didn't really know of this Pokemon barely at all until I saw this card, but I have to say the artwork on this card is really, really beautiful. And, you know, looking at some of the feedback from the last video, sometimes the artwork can really elevate a Pokemon, and I think this is one of those instances. And yeah, for that reason, I'm going to put it up in the B tier. So let's move on to the Gimmighoul. I think these ones are really unique. I mean, the Goldango special illustration rare is awesome. I just think that there is no other card that looks like this Gimmighoul, and the way it connects to the Goldango as well, I think it's kind of a special card, and for that reason, I'm gonna put it up into the B tier as well. Right, now we have this card. So, I mean, what can I say about this Groudon card? It pretty much represents everything that I love about the illustration rares, and I am going to be biased with this card because it genuinely is the card that got me back into collecting. And Paradox Rift, when it came out, it was my favorite set. I mean, I kind of got back in around just before Crown Zenith, and yeah, I was really enjoying the cards. But then when I saw this Groudon, I was like, I have to own this card. Like, that was the first time for a modern card that I felt like I had to own that card. I just needed it. I mean, it's such a cool card to have Groudon, like, in that combination between the land and the sea, with the waves breaking on him, the volcano in the background, the way that the actual character Groudon is drawn. I just think it's such an awesome card. Like, it is such a cool legendary card. Like, the only thing I wish is that they had a Kyogre and it was like a connecting artwork and the Kyogre was like coming out of the sea. I think that would be so cool. But maybe they'll do a Kyogre illustration rare in the future. I'd absolutely love that. But yeah, needless to say, this card is going into the S tier. Right then, we're gonna now move on to Mineshower. So this is a really beautiful card. It is so super tranquil. It is just a really nice depiction of the Pokemon. You really get this sense of, yeah, like, it's almost like training in like martial arts. Yeah, it really goes well with the Pokemon. It's a really beautiful artwork, so I'm gonna put it into the B tier. So now we've got the Minior. Yeah, I think this artwork is probably a little bit more, it's probably, again, a little bit more maybe for like the younger audiences would like enjoy this artwork, and I can kind of see why. Like, I could imagine like my son who's 8 really enjoying this artwork, just purely because of like the coloring and yeah, the visual style. It kind of looks like it's in a video game, which is, you know, pretty cool for a concept. But yeah, for me, it's not really like my taste with cards. So I'm gonna, if I'm being like really reasonable and fair with this, I'm just gonna put it in the D tier. The Garganacl is a nice card. I might have just butchered that name completely. But yeah, this one's a nice card. I like that it's got kind of multiple Pokemon going on in it, with you know, the little Swablu and I think it's a Hoppip floating around, that kind of thing. It's a nice artwork. I really like when they have multiple Pokemon in one artwork. So yeah, I'm gonna stick this one into the C tier. The Sliverwing, I mean, this guy is like ginormous. Like I said with the future and the ancient Pokemon, there are a couple of the ancient Pokemon that I really like, but I would say that I prefer the future concept. Even though the names are a little bit strange, I do prefer the design of the future Pokemon. So yeah, this is one that I'm not super excited about, and yeah, for that reason, I'm going to put it in the D tier. Right, so moving on to the Garbodor. This is an interesting card. He's like the king of Trash Mountain, and I love that for Garbodor. I mean, he's just a cool guy, like sitting on top of this mountain of trash. He kind of reminds me of the mascot of Studio Ghibli, and that's kind of why I like this Pokemon. But it's also the coloring the card is quite nice as well. So I think that saves this guy from being relegated to the D tier and stops him from that kind of embarrassment. I mean, he's already covered in trash, so let's put him into the C tier. So now we've got Yveltal. This is one of those legendaries that maybe I don't have as much of a connection to as a lot of the others. And I really think that this artwork is an awesome artwork as well. But if I'm being completely fair, I just think that I can't put it above the B tier. And that's what I'm going to do today. Let me know if you guys really, really love this card, if you think I'm making a mistake there. I mean, it's a really cool artwork. I like how it's like sensual, and you know, the swirling colors. The colors are really awesome. But yeah, just for me, it's not quite an A tier card. The Morpeko, yeah, again, this one's not super awesome to me. But I don't think it's a super bad card either. I just think it's kind of one of those like average illustration rares, so I'm going to put it in the C tier. The Brute Bonnet, yeah, I don't like this card at all, to be honest. I mean, I really don't enjoy the Pokemon design. And yeah, I really think that this artist has done some incredible artworks, and I could see why like people would be kind of drawn to this art style. But for me, it's just not quite doing it, and therefore I'm going to put it into the D tier. So next we've got a card that is really cool. Again, I think the top comment on the previous video talking about how the Pokemon that I like I put in the S tier, and the awesome artworks I put in the D tier. I mean, this like perfectly kind of illustrates it, and I feel kind of awkward about it because I've just stuck that Brute Bonnet in the D tier, and I'm gonna put this Steelix up high. But you know, having said that, I think this Steelix it's such a cool concept, you know, where the Pokemon are working together with the humans. In this case, the Steelix, you know, working kind of as, you know, on the construction site it's just so appropriate, and it kind of reminds me of the Detective Pikachu movie, where all the Pokemon like are kind of in that hyper-realistic style, and they're all kind of roaming around the city. I think but then again, you know, the art style as well is kind of what I like in the cards. Just having the Pokemon like depicted like that, not trying to do too much with the art style, although that, you know, there are obviously some that do amazing art styles, and you know, maybe I am slightly biased against some of the artists and some of the others, but I'm just going to kind of stick with how I feel about these cards. And yeah, I'm more than welcome to tell me how you feel in the comments as well. I really enjoy that interaction. So yeah, let's put the Steelix into the A tier. So now we've got the Ferrothorn. This one, it's kind of just like you know, your average illustration rare, nothing too crazy. I'm going to put that one in the C tier as well. Same with the Aegislash. I think this one can go in the C tier as well. Not too much explanation needed. I think they're really, you know, pretty cards. You'd be happy if you pulled these cards, and that's why they're going in the C tier. So now the Aipom. So this one is done in the clay art style, and yeah, I don't remember too many other illustration rares that are done by this artist in this clay style. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting, like kind of unique collector's item in that sense. But also the composition of the card itself, and the fact that there's like a background in there that really complements the Pokemon. The fact that, yeah, it's just a unique card. I'm definitely going to have to put it above the C tier, and I'm going to go for the B tier for this card. So the Loudred, although it's an awesome artwork, which it is, I mean, when I first saw this card, I was like super like, oh my, you know, the burst of colors on the outside. It's like, it's, you know, roaring in this kind of anime style. Having said that, I mean, how many people are super excited by Loudred as a Pokemon? I'm not sure there are a ton of people, and that's not to say that there can't be these outliers where there's these really awesome cards, but I just think that if I would be lying to myself if I put this anywhere above the C tier. I mean, I'm tempted to put it in the D tier. I'm going to put it in the C tier just for now, but yeah, I might kind of move that down. You know, looking at it, I think I'm being harsh on the Brute Bonnet. specifically, because I would prefer to, I mean, it's difficult. I'm going to leave it like that for now, but you know, I might change it coming up. So now we've got the Swablu. Yeah, again, I think this is a really nice clean card, and yeah, I like the Wingull in it. I think it's presents the Pokemon really nicely. What I look for in these illustration rares, just like having something, I do kind of see them as like these little mini art pieces, and I think that this one just presents the Pokemon really nicely and does a really good job at that, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. Yeah, and this might be my early generation bias showing through again. But yeah, as I said, I'm just trying to kind of be as honest as I can with these tier lists. So let's move on to Porygon Z. Porygon Z, I really think that this is an awesome card. It is just drawn really, really well, and yeah, I just love the style of this card. I love that this like kind of gaming setup room, the fact that it's like a computer generated Pokemon. I mean, it works so perfectly with the story of this card, and yeah, like the cap and everything. I just think it's such an awesome looking card, and you know, I'd love to like own as many copies of this card. I think I've got one copy of it, but you know, it's kind of one of those cards that I just love to like have a bunch of them, because it's just such a cool artwork. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one in the A tier. Yeah, so now we've got the Cyclizar. Again, I think this is one of those classic C tier cards, not too much to speak about. The C tier kind of, that's like the base level of the cards in my opinion. So yeah, the Cyclizar kind of goes in there. Now we've got Iron Jugulus. So this one I think is above the C tier. This one, I think that the art style of this card is so cool. Like I love the vibrant colors, and I love that it's like this night sky and the Iron Jugulus flying over it. And yeah, the future stamp I think is just super cool, like from a graphic design perspective. And yeah, I just love everything about this card with all the neon colors, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. Right, so now we've got Shiftry. Again, this is one of those artworks where it's like, it's a really cool artwork, and I do have some kind of appreciation for Shiftry, but it just doesn't like, it doesn't get me off my seat, this card. It just is kind of what it is. And yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. It's kind of got this like menacing pose. But yeah, I'm gonna put it into the C tier. Definitely being more charitable today than I was in my first video. But yeah, let's keep going with Grottle. This one's a really nice card. I really like it. I think that it's so funny how it's like carrying the Marill, and it's like doing this like journey across this like grassland, I guess you would call it. And yeah, the only thing that I kind of have a slight problem with is the actual coloring of the grass in this artwork. It's kind of got this like vibrant, like yellowy green color almost. And I just think the card would work so much better if that was like a darker green. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the artwork. I think the way the Pokemon's depicted in itself is really cool. So for that reason, I'm going to put it into the B tier. So now we've got the Deerling and the Sawsbuck, and yeah, again, I think this is kind of one for maybe the younger collectors as well. Just like how vibrant the colors are. I would say if I wanted to own one of them, I would probably want to own the Sawsbuck, just because the Pokemon's like a little bit bigger, and like I like the drawing itself. But yeah, I would say that I would struggle to put these cards higher than the B tier, so that's where I'm going to put them. Right, so now we've got the Litten. This is kind of funny. It's like when you take a picture from like using like a wide angle lens, and it's like kind of distorted in that way, which is interesting in a sense, but yeah, it's just not something that I would kind of like seek out as a card. So I'm gonna put it into the C tier. You know what? I'm gonna drop these to the D tier. I think they're just not cards that I would like, specifically want. The Litten and the Shiftry, I just don't think that they're, super exciting cards at all. So, and I think there are some really cool cards on that C tier. in terms of the illustration. And yeah, I think a common theme that you can see in the detail is like, I don't really like the cards that are too busy. And yeah, so that's why sometimes I put cards into the D tier. Now we have this Snom. Again, like I think that there probably are a few Snom fans out there, and this card is kind of like wacky with like how hyper realistic it is. But yeah, it's not one that I'd be super excited to own, and not one that I really want to kind of spend too much time talking about. So let's put it into the D tier. Again, with the charger bug, again, this is just not an exciting artwork at all, really. It's just not. I don't want to like take up too much time talking about it. Let's put it in the D tier. Bronzor, this is a nice card. I think this one has a really nice kind of coloring to it. And yeah, a quite nice story, like it's almost in this like antique space. I think that it works well, so I'm going to put it into the C tier. Renucleus, or however you call it. I think this one again, just not something that I'd be super excited to own, and not something that I think the artwork is kind of pretty in a sense. But yeah, the Pokemon is just not particularly something I can get behind. And like I said earlier in the video, I'm not ranking these cards like purely on the actual illustration themselves. I'm also taking into account like the Pokemon, and if that's not, if you want kind of like a video talking just about like the illustrations of the cards, this is kind of like a mixture of like the way I feel about these cards and the Pokemon, and yeah, the design and everything. So yeah, let's move on to Cutiefly. So Cutiefly is nice. Like I think that again with the hyper realistic style, I don't think this is a D tier card. I think this is a C tier card, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. So now we've got the Relicanth. I actually really like this card. I mean, again, this is going to show my like early generation bias. And Relicanth is one of those Pokemon that I didn't really even know that I liked this Pokemon until I kind of got back into collecting Pokemon cards, like later on down the line. And this was one of those Pokemon that I look back on and was like, oh, it's actually a pretty cool design. And as somebody who I remember, I used to absolutely love dinosaurs growing up, and it's just cool. It's just a cool Pokemon. So I'm going to put him in the B tier. So now I have the Excadrill. So this one it's just not super inspiring, and it just doesn't really have like too much of a story. It's kind of like the Steelix, how he's helping the but it's just not like the composition of the card is just not like, there's not really much going on. So for that reason, I'm going to put it into the D tier. The Mudsdale, funnily enough, this is one of those cards where it kind of breaks the rule of me only putting these kind of cards in the D tier, because actually it is a really awesome artwork. And in that sense, I really love how the composition is so simple. Like it's really clean. It's like, the action of it kicking the hay bale into the sky. You've got the hay bale set against this, it's really kind of pure blue sky. I think it's a really nice looking card. So I'm going to put it up into the C tier. So now we have some cards that I really think are pretty epic cards. I mean, this Arbok is awesome looking. This one I'm actually tempted to put it into the S tier, but I think it's just about in the A tier. It's pretty special how the Pokemon itself is upside down, and obviously that makes a lot of sense for like a snake Pokemon. And yeah, I think that the way that the background is drawn, like with these like jagged lines and like these, it's just so cool, like this like rainforest vibe. I think it's such an awesome card, and yeah, I would definitely put it up into the A tier. And the Ghastly. So yeah, this is one where you're getting everything that you really want from an illustration rare. You're getting a beautiful color to the card, a really awesome composition, and which is really helped by having this like central kind of yellow color amongst all the purple. The fact that you're getting the whole evolution line, you're getting the Ghastly, you're getting the Gengar, you're getting the Haunter. I think it's kind of everything that you would want from an illustration rare card, in my opinion. So for that reason, it has to be in the S tier. Now we have the Metagross. When this card like first came out, I wasn't like super, that's an amazing card. But now that I've had time to kind of sit with it, I do really like it. I think the fact that it's got, you know, the white snow really contrasts well with the colouring of the Metagross itself. So yeah, I would say that it's a really nice card. Definitely one I'd be really excited to pull, and yes, one that I'm going to put into the A tier. Now we have the Meltan. Again, I think this is one that it's actually really gorgeous when you look at it. It's a really beautiful card. It's I would kind of put it on a level with that Bronzor, except I do think it's slightly nicer in terms of it's a little bit cleaner. It's clean like the, you know, like the Charmander and the Charmeleon from 151. It's got that kind of cleanness to the image. Yeah, I would put it into the C tier, but I do think it could potentially be B tier. I'm going to put it in the B tier because I think it's a really beautiful card, and it deserves to be up there for me. So now we've got the Lickitung. Yeah, the Lickitung is going to go into, I'm afraid, the D tier. It's just not, I don't have like a lot against the Lickitung. I just think that the artwork doesn't really do it any favors. It's kind of a little bit cartoonish, a little bit flat in terms of the artwork, and just not something that I'm super excited about at all. The Chatots is nice though. The coloring, I really like the highly saturated sky color. So yeah, let's put it into the C tier. The Cinccino and the Minccino, I just honestly, and I want to be honest with you guys, I honestly couldn't care less about these cards. Like they're not something that I enjoy, and I can't like kid myself and put them higher than the D tier. Apologies if that's too much. Yeah, and the Dramper as well. I think this one is just not a super exciting card either. And yeah, the art style is pretty flat and it's pretty bland to me, so I'm going to put that in the D tier as well. Right, so now we have Shrouded Fable. So here we have the Tapu Bulu, it's a pretty nice card. I don't think this one deserves to be anywhere in the D tier. I would put it in the C tier. Again, one of those kind of average cards. The Houndoom, however, is probably one of my favorite artworks in the Scarlet and Violet era for the illustration res. It's such a kind of haunting image. I love how dark the card is. One of the styles that I love is like black on black or like black on greys. I think that is such an awesome color combination, and to have a Pokemon card that really like speaks to that design sense is just so cool. And also it's an awesome looking Pokemon as well, and I just think the artist did such an awesome job on this card. It is so cool. I mean, how many times can I say it's cool? Like it's awesome. So yeah, this is an S tier card for me pretty easily. It might not be for some other people, but yeah, for me it's got that energy of just a chase card, something that it's that would be the top card that I would want to pull from Shrouded Fable. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. The Horsey, again, I really like the coloring of this card. I think the coloring is really beautiful. So yeah, I would definitely put this one up in the A tier. Now we've got the Dusclops line. I think the Duskull is probably my favorite out of the three cards. I mean, the Dusknoir is pretty cool as well. I think that the Duskull is an A tier card. It's a really interesting art style, and it's the story of the artworks together is really, really nice as well. So I would definitely put it up there into the A tier. I would put the Dusclops itself, I would put in the C tier. And then the Dust Noir, I think the colouring of this card is really, really nice. I love the purple colour, and yeah, for that reason, I kind of sandwich it like that. I'd sandwich it between as kind of the middle card of the three. But yeah, I think the Dust Gold is the coolest one. Now we have the Cresselia. So this one is stunning to me. And yeah, you might say it's because, the bias of the earlier generations. It is a legendary Pokemon. But yeah, it's really, really, a really beautiful card. Really, really well done. And yeah, I would definitely put it up there in the S tier. Just another word on the Cresselia. There are these cards that have that really clean design that I really like the Cleffa from Obsidian Flames, and cards of that sort, and even the Meltan. But yeah, this card specifically, it being a legendary, it having that kind of, it reminds me of like an opalescent color, the stone, the opal stone. It's got those kind of pastel colorings to it, but it also has the Pokemon in, really clearly depicted. And I think that it's like everything that is really awesome about these illustration rares. And yeah, I would have to put it up in the S tier. I mean, there might be some cards below it that you might think are slightly better, but yeah, just for me, it's something that a really beautiful card and something that I would love to own. So yeah. Now we have the Munkidori, Fezandipiti, and the Okidogi. So yeah, I think it's difficult with these because I think that the artworks are incredible. Like I genuinely do. I think the artworks are so gorgeous for these Pokemon, and unfortunately I just haven't had a lot of engagement with the Pokemon themselves, so I would struggle to put them really high on this tier list. But because of how gorgeous the artworks are themselves, I'm gonna put them up high. I'm not gonna like relegate them and put them really low. I think the best one is definitely the Munkidori in terms of the design of the card. That might be because I just really like the blue colors, but I just think that there's something about it that is kind of like ethereal. So I'm going to put that one, as well as the other ones, as kind of high B tier cards. So yeah, the Munkidori, the Fezandipiti, the Okidogi going into the B tier. Now we have the Zorua. Yeah, this is a really nice card as well. Again, this is kind of got, I like that this card goes along with like the dark vibes of Shrouded Fable. And yeah, I would put it into as a solid B tier card as well. The Kufon is, again, this is a really nice card. I mean, it's really pretty, isn't it? It's just kind of funny. Like, it's like this like balloon elephant. It's just kind of a hilarious Pokemon to me. I'm gonna put it, it's not a D tier card, I'm gonna put it in the C tier. The Fraxure, I think this one's a bit higher than even the C tier. I think this one's a really beautifully drawn Pokemon card. It kind of has that same feeling as the Mineshao from Paradox Rift. But yeah, it's got a slightly more like sketchy style as opposed to like watercolory. So yeah, I would definitely put this one up pretty high. It's kind of the art style that I really like. I think the Pokemon's pretty cool. Excited to see the this line get some more illustration rares in the black and white set coming up this year. So yeah, I'm gonna put it up into the B tier. And now we have the Persian card. This one gives me some problems because I think it's really on that line between an S tier and an A tier card. I would say that this card is an S tier card. I think that the way that it's looking out across the city, the way that it has the reflection in the glass, I think that is so unique and so cool, and the colors are so beautiful on this card. I really love this card. I think I would be so excited to pull it. I think I would probably prefer to pull the Houndoom card. But yeah, this would probably be my second favourite card in Shrouded Fable. Some amazing cards in Shrouded Fable, some illustration rares, it has to be said. And yeah, finally, we have this Beware card, which I'm just going to put straight in the D tier because it gives me the creeps. But yeah, that's all I've got today. I didn't quite get to Twilight Masquerade. Let's save that for another video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely consider subscribing and yeah, getting involved in the comments and all of that. Like, really looking forward to hearing what you guys think. And thank you so much again for watching.